right, we have our review for summative number 4 in the fall of 2019. And the first 2 sections that you guys see on the review, these are repeated sections from your last test. So we all need to take them again, and we're all going to show an improvement, or if you were already awesome, keep being awesome. Now, I want to skip ahead to question 1B, because that, in my opinion, is the trickiest one on this whole page. Which means David's going to help me. Sorry, I know I told you you were helping me. David and I already had a chat about this. Okay, David, before we talk about whether it's an and or an or, we have to isolate the absolute value bars. So what do you have to do first? You have to divide by -4. And then there's a rule in math and inequalities. When you divide by a negative, the sign flips. So right away, we had to isolate, and we actually have a brand new problem. It's the absolute value of x plus 2. You told me to flip this sign, so now it says greater than 5. So this is the problem that we're going to have to solve. So ignore the original problem. David, do we have an and or an or? Oh, for Pete's sake. This is... No. No, it wouldn't be in a Bruzo video if I didn't have at least 10 mistakes. That's one. Check. All right. Did I get it right? Is it an and or an or? It's an or. So, a couple of reminders, guys. Once you isolate, if you have a greater than symbol, that means you have an or. And if you have a less than symbol, once you're isolated, that means you have an and. I'm not going to try to trick you on this test with one of those weird no solutions, all solutions thing. So, in your head, you should be thinking about what an inequality looks like when it's an or. All right, Meyer, pass it to somebody who's the lucky next soul. All right, Corbin, help me solve. First, I need to set up 2 problems. What are they? It's a greater than symbol, but yep, greater than 5. Good. So, or x plus 2, flip the sign, negative. The answer. Very good. Oh, you can't read that, though. So it says x plus 2 is less than -5. So 2 things that Corbin changed on the second problem. He flipped his sign around again and then negated the answer. So once he solves that, you get x is, subtract 2 for me, Corbin. So greater than 3. And then make sure the word or shows up in your solution. X is less than -7. The issue I saw from a few people, thank you. The issue I saw from a few people last test is they had like half of their algebra and they kind of dropped half of their algebra and then they got to the end of the inequality line and they weren't sure what to write down. So just trust your algebra, follow it down. So we're asking you to do a number line because that allows us to see the interval once we have it graphed. Are we sticking with Corbin or are we going to somebody else? Who? Oh, Garrett. Garrett, number line order. Which number comes first? 3 or -7? Which one would show up? -7. And then we think we know what an or should look like. And I know my teacher's not trying to trick me, so or should be kicking out on the side, right? But this is a good moment for you to double check Corbin's work because if he made a mistake, we'll catch it right here. He didn't make a mistake, though. So it's less than -7 going this way and greater than 3 this way. And you said parentheses. Very nice. Why parentheses? There's no equal to bar. Very good. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad we're at that point. Guys, remember, negative infinity lives down here on the left and positive infinity lives down here on the right. Garrett, can you read me my interval from left to right, please? Yep. Yep. Start on the left side of it, though. So, yep, just read it literally left to right. 3 to infinity. And what symbol goes in the middle of them to join them together? A union symbol. There you go. Why do you have to do the union symbol? That way it's one solution. Okay. Yes.
On the other one?
Yes.
It's one answer.
They graph towards each other because it's an and. So the interval is just one interval. Yep. Yep. So that was probably the most common issue I saw from your class in the last test. You guys were a little confused about what the intervals were supposed to look like. And that's why we're asking you guys to do the number line step. The number line is there to help you develop your interval and just read it from left to right. Technically, I don't have to have you guys graph a number line at all. We just do it because we think it's better for development. Okay? Alrighty. Ooh, fun. 2B. Who's got it? Alright, Zoe. We have the similar problem to like what David started with where we weren't isolated yet. So can you tell me a couple steps I need to take before I can isolate? Yep. So right now we have 9 times the absolute value of x minus 7 is less than 18. Still not isolated. What's your next step? Very good. So new problem, although I'm out of room, is the absolute value of x minus 7 is less than 2. Zoe, do you have an and or an or? It is an and. Very good. The way I remember it is less than and land, but do what you need to do. Thank you, Zoe. Who's next? Setting up and solving. All right, Janae, set them up for me. Let's do the setup first. So just x minus 7 is less than 2. Yep. And what's the other one look like? Is it just 2 still? Negative 2. There we go. So 2 things that Janae switched for me. She reversed the sign on the second one and negated the answer. And I'm really out of room. So could you tell me what I get when I, oh boy, add 7 everywhere? Yep. Very good. And I'm going to throw the word and in the middle of those two, guys. Make sure you're really careful that the word and or the word or shows up on your inequality line right there. It's going to be part of your solution. Thank you. All right, let's graph that, Janae. Which number shows up first on the number line? Yep. And then in your head, do you have a picture of what an and should look like? Should they be graphing in towards each other or kicking out? Okay, let's make sure that happened. Everything less than 9 would be this way. Everything greater than 5 would be this way. And that's exactly what you told me should happen. So yay. Parentheses or brackets? Parentheses. Very good. So this is what you were asking about, Corbin. So the interval starts and stops where? Yep, starts at 5, ends at 9. Ands are the best. They're the easier ones for graphing intervals, at least. All right. Ooh, that's a fun statement at the bottom. Be prepared to do some explaining. There's some questions on your test that require you to verbalize to me how does one approach these questions. So you have to be able to communicate to me like my first step is to do this, and in general, not for a specific question. So I think a good way to study for that would be to like turn to a friend, to a neighbor, and literally verbalize the steps. First, I need to isolate the absolute value bars. Then I set up 2 questions, things like that. You guys love explaining, don't you? Okay, let's talk about the 3 rules of exponents. Mrs. Meyer, who's going to help me with the 3 rules of exponents? Jason, what are they? 3 rules for exponents. How do I know when I'm done? No parentheses. All right, what else? Combine, yep. Very good. Combine all the things and no negative exponents. Cool. So look at number 3 with me, Jason. What would you like to do? Very good. To whom? Thank you. See, I can't trick anybody today. All right, so what happened last week? Because Jason, you probably did fine. I don't know why I'm harping at you. But I had a whole lot of people who forgot to distribute it to the coefficient. So thank you for remembering that. It's 3 to the 3rd power, and then it's x to the... What are you going to do to combine these exponents, though? Jason's answering, but yeah, multiply. What do you get? Thank you. And then y to the 15. Very good. You happy with that answer?
No.
Why not? All right, so the exponent negative term needs to move down. You can leave it as 3 to the 3rd power. Do you have another way of expressing 3 to the 3rd power? 27 works, yeah. If you guys left it as 3 to the 3rd, I love that. Leave it. Y to the 15th stayed up top.
Yeah.
And then when you moved x to the bottom, what else changed? Yeah, it's positive 9 power now. Very good. Thanks. Meyer, who's got 4? Jaden, talk to me about these things right here. What are these? Coefficients. What do you do with coefficients? You just reduce them, yeah. So 16 over 8, better known as 2. And I'm going to write it as 2 over 1. But if you just said 2, I understand. Keep going, Jaden. We need to combine some like terms and do something with these A's. What do you want to do? Very good. So this test is very short tomorrow, guys. I want to hear a lot of clicking on the calculator where you guys are checking your arithmetic. Because you'd be surprised what people tell me the answer to this is. -7. Is that 7? Yeah, okay, -7 minus a -3. What you got? Okay, a to the -4th. Notice I wrote Jaden's answer up in the numerator for now. And then do the same property for the c's. What do you have there? C to the 4th. Good. Happy with this answer? Me neither. You're going to move the -1 to the bottom? All right, so the 2 and the c to the 4th stay up in the numerator. And then when you move the a to the 4th to the denominator, you also made okay, so you made the 4 positive. I need a nap. Okay, very good, thank you. Number 5, who's got this, Meyer? All right, Joseph, I have a question for you. I know you're going to distribute this. Do we also distribute it to the denominator? No, we don't. A lot of your classmates did that on their last test. But we're not going to do that again. Why don't we distribute it to the denominator this time? They're not in parentheses. All right, so I'll write down. You tell me what you got. What do you have? I'll write it down.
I have y6.
Oh, so you just called the x a 0, 1? Did you do that? Okay, very good. He remembered the 0 property that says anything to the 0 power is equal to a 1. So then Joseph said, that's lame, I'm not going to write it down. So he changed this to a y to the 6th power. And then, good.
Now what you do is you subtract that, and then you get 7.
Thank you. Fun fact, this question was on one version of the test last week. About 50% of the kids in this room told me 6 minus -1 is 5. It's 7. You were right. So, yes. Could you guys please, with the extra time that you're allowed on this test, because there's tons of time after this test, please double check your arithmetic whenever a negative or a fraction is involved. All right. Thank you. Who's helping me with 6, Mrs. Meyer? Hunter, what are we going to do? To whom? So tell me what to write down. Oh, see, I can't trick you either. All right. X to the... Oh, why I'm so excited to trick children today. Keep going. Yep. Yeah. Oh, fun fact. The answer key is wrong on this question. Nope, just being stupid. So this is just a great karma moment for me. So that thing that I keep like, you guys don't do this. Yeah, I did it when I keyed this. I forgot to distribute the 2 to the 7. Oops. So my answer key has totally the wrong answer for the x. It says it's 11 down here. When in fact, Hunter's going to tell me that the x is to what power? All right, so he's got 5 squared x to the -18 over y to the 6. And then you're going to do one more step, Hunter. Yep, you got it. Very good. If you called this a 25 in front instead of 5 squared, I like that. I also like 5 squared, so whatever, as long as it's equivalent. Nice job. So this is what the answer is supposed to be, not whatever is on the key. All right, let's move on to the newer stuff now. We have rational exponents, which is the same exact rules that you guys just went through, but now we have fractions. So on a test, y'all better be checking your fraction work on the calculator. I love when you do mental math. I just love it more when you check it. Mental math is amazing, and it's often wrong. Okay, number 8A. Who's helping me with 8A, Mrs. Meyer? All right, Alyssa. Do you see coefficients in this problem? Those would be numbers that are sitting in front of variables. I see one right here. There's a 6. Do you see another one in the problem? Yeah, so your true coefficient, Alyssa, is 6 times 4, which is 24. You got it. Okay, it's time to combine, Alyssa. You just got to remember what we do to combine them. So I have x to the 3/4, and then over here x to the 2nd. What do we do with their exponents to combine these together? Yes. So if you don't have the answer already, I want to see you type it on your calculator. 3/4 plus 2, and then everyone hit a math enter to bring that back to a fraction. What is your new exponent for the x, Alyssa? Thank you. And you're going to use that same rule for the y's. She's going to add those together. She's going to get a negative 7/6 plus a 1/3. And math enter back on the calculator for me. What'd you get? Nice. Is this a good final answer?
No.
Just asking Alyssa. She knew it wasn't good. Why not, Alyssa? The negative exponent term has to move. Very nice. All right, so 24 x to the 11/4. And then now that y value is a positive exponent because you moved it. So to the positive 5/6. Nice job. All right, let's hop around a little bit. We're short on time. It's a good one. Ooh, 10. 10A. All right, Kaylee. Talk to me about coefficients here. Do you see them? Yeah. And you have 15 over 25. Is that reduced? No. And if you're not sure how to reduce it, you can always just type 15 divided by 25, math enter, but I think Kaylee already reduced it. What does it reduce to? Very good. So new coefficient, 3/5. So now, Kaylee, I want to talk to you about how we can combine these x's. Very good. She is subtracting. So calculator or brain, just be careful. It's 6 minus, like she said, a negative 2/5. When you math enter that, Kaylee, what do you get? Very nice. And then same thing with the y's. Could you please subtract those carefully? Negative 2 minus 8/5. Okay. Is this a good answer? No, they're never good answers on the first step, are they? All right, she's moving that down to the bottom. Final answer, 3 times x to the 32/5 over 5 times y to the 18/5. Thank you. All right. Move to the last section, please. I'm a little concerned about this section, just because we haven't had tons of practice with it. I should have given you more homework. Right?
Maybe we should do it.
No, we'll see how it goes. We might have to retake it. We'll see. All right, we are going to give you some formula. We're going to give you this formula here. Now, the other thing I promised you that I do on the test, I'd be very, very clear about what the variables represent. So down here towards the bottom of the question, it specifies that the number of chirps from your crickets is your y, and the temperature has to be your x. So when you guys go to set up your ordered pairs, make sure you're following those rules. So temperature compared to chirps, this one has to be 68, 124. I know that's not the way we set it up in the notes or practice or whatever we worked on together, but they specified it this time, so you have to pay attention to that. And then the other ordered pair is, what does that say, 80? So 80 degrees for 172 chirps. And they want you to find the constant rate of change. What does it mean when they say find the constant rate of change? That's slope. Okay, I technically did not give you slope formula. We'll talk about that in a minute. Who remembers slope formula? Good. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So using our points that we just came up with, that'll be 172 minus 124 over 80 minus 68 and then the Meyer method says calculate the numerator and denominator separately. I think that'd be brilliant here. So 48 over 12, which reduces to 4. And I would love it if you would actually label what you just found. Remember, it was number of chirps divided by degrees Fahrenheit. So it's 4 chirps per degree Fahrenheit. So every degree the temperature goes up, you're going to hear 4 more chirps every minute from crickets. Now this formula I did give to you. So choose your favorite point from earlier, guys. You like the blue point or the red point? Blue point? All right, I'll go with it. So using the blue point, using the slope you just found, plug it into the formula. Y minus the y coordinate, which is 124, equals slope, which you just found to be a 4, and then times x minus the x coordinate from that point, which is 68. And all they wanted you to do was find the equation. So you can stop right there. There's no follow-up question to that one, so I would just stop and walk away from it. If you use the other ordered pair, you're still right. Don't back up yet. I got one more. It's a good one. It's the best one on the whole test, y'all. All right, Marty, spending money still. Now, why would a math teacher underline and bold something in a word problem?
Spending money.
Yeah.
So they're losing money.
Thank you. So what's your slope?
-6.
Thank you. What's the ordered pair sitting here? Now, yes, and be careful. They did say days followed by money in that particular order. So 12 days, $278. Okay, slope formula, or point slope formula, sorry. Y minus the y coordinate, so 278, equals m, which you guys found to be -6. Good, good. And then x minus the x coordinate, so x minus 12. For the sake of time, I'm just going to pretend that you all did this with me, but we distributed, we collected like terms, and then voila! We got this, -6x plus 350. So now it says, how much money will he have after 30 days? Am I supposed to plug that in for x or for y? Which one was day? Yes, days was x. So plug that in for x, and y'all get $170 when you're done. Now, the thing I want to point out to you, I said I didn't give you slope formula, but I kind of think I did. Because look at this formula, guys. If you tried to solve for m, you would divide this term all the way over here. Isn't that exactly slope formula? So you kind of do have it. If you get in a jam, it's sitting there on your paper if you think about it. All right, thank you, 7th hour. I knew I could count on you.